Welcome everyone to the Center for Spiritual Living Carlsbad. Let's begin with a quick opening treatment, remembering the truth that there is one mind, one spirit, one good, which we call God, the creative energy of the universe, in which we live and have our being, and that it is all there is, and each of us is one with it. Knowing this, I give thanks for the opportunity to be here today and to be together today as we move forward into this wonderful exploration of the science of mind and into just being together, reinforcing that good which we all deserve and which we all share in, that good, that knowledge, that truth, that there is enough for us, that each of us is enough, and that this knowledge, this wonderful, wonderful experience of good that we are about fills this room with joy, fills our heart with blessings and gratitude. And so I'm so happy to be here today, so happy to be a part of this. And I turn this treatment over to that one mind, knowing that it's already done, giving thanks, and I invite you to join me in knowing, and so it is.
We are one, we are one. I am you and you are me, and we are one. And in this unity we all live in harmony, and peace has come, and we are one, and peace has come. For we are one.
Oops.
It's on. It's on.
It's on.
It's on?
Yes.
Oh, thank you, Joe. Good morning, everyone. It's great to see you all, and beautiful day here today. We have some interesting things for you today. Today, Reverend Kate's going to give a talk on Treat Yourself to Life. And we're going to have a short workshop afterwards, wrapping up what we did last month on decision making. So if you'd like to stay, I'll be leading about a 20 to 30 minute workshop. We have a little decision making process. So hope that works for you. Right now, I would like to, I'm looking around for our candle lighter. Oh, okay. Would you like to come? I had Catalina as candle lighter, but we're flexible. Margie.
Yes.
So this center is based on the knowledge that there's one great universal presence, which we call spirit. And please join me, honor the unifying nature of spiritual thought and experiences as we light the flames of faith, symbolizing all people and all faith. Thank you. We light the candle of the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. And finally, I invite you to take a moment, take a breath, and just recognize the light within that is always shining as we honor all forms of new thought, the metaphysical path of wholeness, oneness, and mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. Thank you, Margie. And our statement of truth, which is in your, here, it says, there's a power for good in the universe and you can use it. That's what we believe. And our mission to teach, demonstrate, and inspire a positive spiritual approach to living. Spiritual approach. So if this is your first visit, please sign our guest book. We want to extend a warm welcome to you, and we'll give you a welcome packet. Yes. So please be sure to join us for fellowship afterwards. And if you're not receiving the weekly email, please see us out at the table and make sure we have your email. So guess what? Please turn it off. I remembered. So, and we have a few announcements. Masks are still very welcome. If you feel like wearing a mask, perfect. And we don't give hugs or shake hands unless the person agrees. I like to still do this. So, again, we're going to have a little workshop today on the power of decision making. So please join us. And we have wonderful snacks out there. I just want to say thank you for Ruth Ann, for the flowers. Thank you, Ruth Ann. And they smell good. So feel free to come up and enjoy. And thank you for the refreshments. Margie again. Thank you, Margie. And we have, thank you for the greeter. I'm sorry. Thank you. Thank you, Pat. And thank you, Larry, for recording. Little parking lot reminder, please take your car with you if you go out to lunch with somebody, because they close and lock the gate. So let's look at our group reading. It's on the third page. And we could say this together. God is all visible and invisible. One presence, one mind, one power is all. This one that is all is perfect love and perfect abundance. I am an individualized expression of God. I am ever one with this perfect love, perfect abundance. So why don't you all stand? We're going to have a group song.
All right, this song I've chosen is by Eddie Watkins Jr., and it's called You and Me. And the three things you want to remember is one life living, one light shining, one love loving. All right, you got that? All right, here we go. Here we go now. One life living as you and me, one light shining as you and me, one love loving as you and me, 'cause God is all there is. Sing it now. One life living as you and me, one light shining as you and me, one love, loving as you and me, 'cause God is all there is. I'm shining from the inside out, I'm so happy, and I just wanna shout, woo! One life living as you and me, one love, one love loving as you and me, 'cause God is all there is. Let's do it again. One life living as you and me, one light shining as you and me, one love loving as you and me, 'cause God is all there is. One life living as you and me, a light, one light shining as you and me, a love, one love loving as you and me, 'cause God is all there is. Yes, I'm shining from the inside out, I'm so happy, I just want to shout, woo! One light living as you and me, one light shining as you and me, one love loving as you and me, 'cause God is all there is, 'cause God is all there is, 'cause God is all there is.
Thank you. So I just wanted to mention again, we're blessed with the staff of ministers and prayer practitioners. We're here for you, and I'd like to have the ministers and practitioners stand. Thank you. They're here for you to do treatment. They're here Sunday. They're here during the week, and if you need a prayer treatment, we have a little box out there. You can just write your request. Thanks. Or, you can always see one of us. Thanks. So I'd like to introduce our reader for today, Catalina.
In the introduction to the book, Think Your Troubles Away by Ernest Holmes, William Kinnear wrote that thought precedes action and an idea is first formed in one's mind before some tangible manifestation appears, such as the making of a chair, the building of a bridge, the creation of a big corporation, or even the baking of a cake. Happiness stems from a way of thinking and not from any external factor. Your emotions and their resultant effects are not controlled by outward conditions, but by your inner direction of them. It might be said that each thought you have, good or bad, is a seed planted in fertile soil and grows and produces fruit according to the basic idea embedded in it. Regardless of the nature of your present experience in daily life, in some way or another, you can trace that experience back to a thought seed that you have planted and nourished within your own consciousness. Yes, thoughts are things, so if you find that your life is not all that you would have it be, it becomes necessary to change your patterns of thinking. You need to uproot those undesirable thoughts you have planted and replace them with others more to your liking. This may sound simple, and it is, but in order to do this, there needs to be an understanding of who you are, what you are, and the nature of the universe in which you live. The world in which you live does operate in a harmonious and lawful manner, and it is only by understanding the laws of life that you may be able to cooperate with them and use them to your advantage rather than disadvantage. To make full and constructive use of the word axiom, I hope I pronounced that right, thoughts are things requires that you come to realize that there is a power in the universe greater than you are and that you can use it. This power can and always does respond to you, but only in the manner in which you actually use it, not in the manner you would just like to have it respond. As you learn to think in a creative and a constructive manner, you can come to experience more of the peace, perfection, good, and beauty of power and joy, which reside at the center of that divine creative source of all things. You have problems just like everybody else, but the solving of these troubles is the matter of the way that you think. Wrong thinking created them, and right thinking can resolve them and cause them to fade away.
Thank you, Catalina. Thanks. And today, we have one more song. Yes?
At least.
At least. Okay. Good. Take it away, Joe.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I brought the band with me today. This is a song I wrote. It's called Wonderful, and I think you'll recognize at least part of it.
What a wonderful day we got here. Kind of day that just makes me smile. Sun is out and the sky is so clear. Mother Nature decked out in style. So go away, bad news, I don't need you. It ain't no day for blues. I'm kicking my heels up. What a wonderful day we got here. Just the kind of a day I'd choose. I've gotta work today, but it's alright. I'd rather work than have nothing to do. And I'm working at keeping things light. I'm only letting the positive through. So if the boss gets mad, it doesn't matter. You know it ain't so bad. Heck, it's only money. I'm working at keeping things light. About the easiest job I had. Sitting on cloud nine, singing a song. I haven't felt this good in so long. There's plenty of sunshine keeping me strong. I ain't worried about nothing like something going wrong. No, because what a wonderful day we got here. Kind of day that just makes me smile. Turn that music up loud and clear. And spice it up with a reggae style. Go away, bad news, I don't need you. It ain't no day for blues. I'm kicking my heels up. What a wonderful day we got here. It's just the kind of a day I choose. Wonderful morning. I ain't got time for blues. Round about this evening, I'm putting on my dancing shoes. Wonderful morning. It's gonna be a mighty fine afternoon too. So I think I'll go fishing. And whistle me a happy tune. I'm gonna whistle me a happy tune. I'm gonna whistle me a happy tune. will be.
Thank you so much. And at this time, it is my pleasure to introduce Reverend Kate DuVivier, and she's going to be talking about treat yourself to life. Yes.
Trying to avoid feedback. So, okay, great. It's so great to be here today. I feel like kicking up my heels. And you know, there's my mind because I have a little story for you that really fits with kicking up your heels because, am I loud enough?
Oh, you're fine.
Oh,
I just
okay.
wondered, you said you wanted to avoid feedback. I didn't know if you meant us or.
Oh, no, you guys can give feedback anytime, that's fine. We'll just, you know, it's a lesson. If you need to raise your hand,
I've
that's
been
fine.
watching too much Young Sheldon.
But, you know, it's summertime, we do want to keep it light, but I did, when Reverend Lori walked in, it reminded me that there's one more announcement, which is that after our service ends, during fellowship, we did want to get a photo of people, particularly those who, speak.
We'd like to get a picture of everyone in the congregation because everyone participated in the wells. Even if you didn't, you're part of our community. And I guess we're going to send it to CSL, home office, right?
Right, CSL, Centers for Spiritual Living Organization, which has its headquarters in Denver, is looking, has reached out to the different centers and said, are you doing anything interesting? Send us a photo, you know, tell us a photo of some people who are doing it and tell us what it is you're doing. So we thought, let's do a photo of our group and just say, you know, we're putting in wells in India. I say wells with the S because it looks like we may even be able to do it too. We're not quite there yet, but we're way past the first one. So it's good news. So.
What I wanted to do, Kate, was impose our picture next to Sandy's well. You know what I mean? And send them a picture of both all in one, you know? Pretty cute.
Yeah, we can do that. We can do a picture of the well, picture of us, give a little blurb, and maybe it will inspire other people to do the same. You know, because we're prosperity teaching, and that is a wonderful demonstration of prosperity. So now I'm going to get back to kicking up your heels. Once upon a time, there were 3 billy goats gruff, right? So goats are always kicking up their heels. The billy goats gruff lived beside a river, and one day they saw a field of greener grass on the other side of the river. So naturally they decided that that's where they wanted to go. But there was only one bridge across the river, and underneath that bridge lived a terrible, grumpy troll who never let anyone go across the bridge. He always gobbled them up for breakfast. So the 3 goats made a plan. What they did is they sent the smallest billy goat gruff across the bridge first. So trip, trap, went his little hooves as he walked across the bridge. Who goes over my bridge? Growled the troll from under the bridge. Oh, Oh, it's only me, little Billy Goat Gruff, said the smallest goat. Then I'm coming to eat you up, said the troll. Oh, please don't eat me. Wait, I'm too little. Wait for my brother. He's bigger. He's coming next. Oh, said the troll. Well, I'll wait for him. Next, the medium-sized Billy Goat Gruff came over the bridge. Trip, trap, went his hooves as he walked over the bridge. Who goes trip-trap over my bridge? Growled the troll from underneath. Oh, it's only me, medium-sized Billy Goat Gruff. Well, then I'm going to eat you up, growled the troll. Oh, no, don't eat me. Wait, my big brother's coming. Oh, okay, I'll wait for him. So the medium-sized goat, got across the bridge. Next, you know what's next, right? The biggest Billy Goat Gruff came walking over the bridge. Trip, trap, went his hooves. Who goes trip, trap over my bridge? Growled the troll from underneath. Well, it is I, big Billy Goat Gruff, said the goat. Then I'm coming to eat you up. Oh, no, you won't, the biggest goat shouted, and he lowered his horns and charged at the troll. Smack! He butted him right over the edge of the bridge, and from then on, the bridge was safe, and all the goats were able to go back and forth to the rich fields across the river, and they all lived happily ever after. Right? So some people think that this old Norwegian folk tale teaches children not to be greedy like the troll, right? You should have just been satisfied with the first little goat. No, I don't think most children identify with the greedy old troll. I think, obviously it's about be like the goats, get a plan. Use your mind and use your power and get across the bridge. It's about how to overcome adversity. And it's also a funny version of that, famous, because it's everywhere, story that we call the hero's journey, the hero's quest. That it's an eternal story that is always coming into our culture in so many forms, from Three Billy Goats Gruff to Star Wars. It's always coming into our shared consciousness, and it always has the goal of living happily ever after. So last week I was talking about happiness because we were going through the power of decision. So it was about decide to be happy. The idea that even if there are ups and downs in our lives, if we can decide to be happy, if we can decide to live in a state of inner peace, then we're going to come closer to that state of living happily ever after because of the serenity that will allow us to think clearly. We will become more open to receiving the divine ideas that are actually always available to us when we stop resisting them. So that's, to me, what the troll represents is our resistance, our fear, our doubt, our constriction of our energy and abundance that takes place in our own mind. What we have to do is we have to accept the possibility of good and move across that bridge toward our desires. And we can do it when we stop focusing on the troll, stop focusing on those scary things, and begin focusing on what it is we want and how we're going to get to the good that we desire. So, we've been gradually, since we reopened in April, we've been gradually working on getting to this point. Reverend Maureen and I had a plan all along to gradually reintroduce the idea of doing spiritual mind treatment. And even as ministers, I think we needed a refresher after being closed so long. And I know that some people here are very advanced students of our teaching, and I know that other people are new, but we all have gaps, and we all need to recommit ourselves. So we have just been trying to build up our willingness to use spiritual practices in our everyday life. Simple things. Affirmations, meditation, just starting to say yes to the gifts that are trying to come to you, saying yes to the possibility of experiencing more good, just trying new things out, setting intentions like we did in the Power of A, looking on the bright side, making decisions. And that's what we're going to talk about just for 20 or 30 minutes in Reverend Maureen's workshop today after fellowship. It's going to be short. All of these are spiritual practices, and they all help us shift our consciousness from, oh no, there we go again, to, oh goody, what's next, right? To looking forward to what it is we want. It is an adventure. We need to train our minds to enjoy it and also to begin to control where it is we are headed, what we are doing. So in the third paragraph of The Science of Mind, which is kind of our textbook, Ernest Holmes wrote, "The divine plan is one of freedom." Right? We have to get a plan together. The divine plan is one of freedom. Bondage or suffering is not God ordained. Freedom is the birthright of every living soul. Everybody feels this instinctively. The truth with a capital T, points us to freedom under law. This is how the world works. It is our inherent nature as humans to always be seeking to express this truth. We need to listen to this inner voice, which is always propelling us, because it tells us of a life wonderful in its scope, of a love beyond our fondest dreams, of a freedom which the soul craves, or in the vernacular of the Billy Goats, of the greener pastures that we can be looking for. And that's the reason why all these versions of the hero's journey resonate with us so much, because each of us is actually on our own journey through this adventure we call life. And each of us has our own inner voice, the voice of inspiration. It's always there for us, propelling us on our journey. You know, and that's why we're here today, isn't it? I mean, why did you even come here? You were propelled on your own journey, as was I. So all of us together are becoming more and more aware of the fact that there is good for us, that we ought to have it. We're becoming more aware, and I include myself, more aware of the truth that we live in this field of infinite possibility that we call God or spirit. Or you could call it creative energy, or you could call it the allness, or you can call it life. Whatever you want to call it, it doesn't care. But we live and have our being in it because there's nothing else. There's just it and nothing else. And yet, at the very same time, we're free individuals. It's really amazing when you think about that. We're free. And today, like the little billy goats, we have seen the possibility of getting into our own greener pastures. And now we're ready to cross the bridge, right? So just to kind of keep the silliness going, pretend that the little billy goat is the use of affirmations. You can use them, you know. There is good for me and I ought to have it. Every day in every way I get better and better. I am healthy, wealthy, and wise. Affirmations. Well, let's pretend that the middle billy goat is like meditation. When we do meditation, we begin to know more clearly who we are, and we open up our connection to inspiration. Well then, I want to propose that treatment is the third billy goat. Treatment, spiritual mind treatment, can knock the trolls right off the bridge. That is the big deal. And that brings us back to the book by Raymond Charles Barker, Treat Yourself to Life. It is the sequel, the follow-up book to The Power of Decision, and actually it's shorter. It's shorter in a way, it's an easier read, because The Power of Decision was trying to convince people to change their whole ideas about what they deserve in life, to kind of let go of that race consciousness or cultural consciousness, to be willing to be free and make new decisions. And it was done in a very rational way, so it took a lot of explaining. Now, Treat Yourself to Life, I think we might have a few copies. If not, please ask Jan to order one for you if you want. Or you can get it, you can get used copies online too. But Treat Yourself to Life is simpler. It's more of a how-to manual. It's more of a cookbook or recipe book. But I have found there's a lot of people and they just don't know why we even call it treatment. You know, just the word treatment or spiritual mind treatment puts them off. It's like, well, why don't you just call it prayer? So treatment is actually a method of prayer. But at the same time, it's really different than what most people think of as prayer, because we're not praying to any outside entity. We're not praying to a God in the sky. We don't believe that God is some kind of a magical being who answers our prayer with a yes or a no. We don't believe there's any God that we can beg for a favor. God doesn't play favorites. We believe that God is, it's beingness. It's not a being, it is beingness itself. It is life itself and more. It's not just what we experience, it's everything that is far beyond what we can imagine. Anything you can imagine, it's that and more. Raymond Charles Barker, in his book, says that treatment is a simple, practical, spiritual technique that we can use to transform our conscious desires into objective or everyday reality through directing our subconscious mind. So our subconscious mind is the part of the mind of God that we use and share. It is something that you could say we tap into within ourselves. So when Jesus said the kingdom of God is within, this is what we're tapping into. When we use treatment, we're simply using a principle, like a rule, to our benefit in the same way that we would use any scientific principle. Because the law of mind, what happens, is simply automatic reaction to our thoughts. Barker puts it this way. He says that the law of mind, or the way it works, already exists. We don't start it, We don't stop it, we don't increase it, we don't decrease it, or we don't do anything to it. Any more than you could increase or decrease or change the law of gravity by doing a prayer. It just is. You can use it or ignore it, but it just is. This is how the law of mind works. He said our subconscious is more than just a storehouse of our neuroses, psychoses, fixations, memories, and habits. It is actually a law of action. It is a law in the sense that it is the way you and I work. It is the thing that actually causes you to be yourself with all of your experiences. Treatment involves the consistent or steady repetition of a positive idea, and you direct it into your subconscious mind, which is a part of the mind of spirit, the one mind. So that's how he describes it. And actually, you know, if you can get over the word treatment or the phrase spiritual mind treatment, the fact is there's nothing new about it. If you have read the Bible, and it's using the same healing techniques that the Bible says Jesus used. We've just broken it down into steps that people can learn in case they weren't born as Jesus of Nazareth and they didn't just like amazingly know it. So, you know, what did he do? How can we learn from him? You know, if you think about it, how many things in the Bible, or maybe you've heard as quotes by Jesus, where he says things like, your faith has healed you. It is done unto you as you believe. The Father and I are one. We're saying, yeah, we believe that. We believe those words, absolutely. These ideas are not new, but people tend not to use them. And we need to begin to use them again. Using them, doing a treatment is just a spiritual practice. It's really not any different or any harder than using meditation or using affirmations. You can learn it, you can practice it. As you practice it, you're going to find that it's easier and easier to observe how it actually works and impacts your life. So, I'll read a little more from Barker. He said about his own treatment work. He said, my treatment work is just as scientific, just as definite, and just as complete in its action as though I were using a book of recipes for cooking. I know that if I use ingredients correctly, I cook them at the proper heat for the proper amount of time, I will have a result. When I direct my mind to the action of God, a knowledge of God, believing that it is now working through me, and that I have every right as its beloved creation to direct it, I give it a specific form through which to operate, and I get a result. It's definitely a process and definitely a science. And he continues saying, start with the basis that health, wealth, love, and self-expression are yours by divine right. And that you have simply temporarily forgotten that they are yours. In your temporary spiritual amnesia, which is what it is, you have believed that you did not have them. And since the law of mind functions under or in response to the law of belief, your belief that you did not have them caused you to not have them. By the same law, or in the same way, as you begin to believe that you do have what you want, then you have it. It's simple. It's one law, and it can work in two different ways. You know, I say it's simple, and yet I want to admit, in case you're having difficulty with the concept, the idea that I already have it took me like even a couple of years after I was a minister to really be like, oh yeah, now I get it. You know, so we have to keep working and practicing. But it's simple, really. What you clearly think takes form because it is the nature of the subconscious to project form. It doesn't do it because it wants to. Any more than if you turn on the faucet, the water wants to come out. It has to do it. It is its nature to do it. The fact is that spiritually speaking, you have always been healthy. Only there have been lapses in your knowledge of this. You have forgotten from time to time, or in particular ways. Same thing. You have always been prosperous, but there were times when you didn't think you were. That's spiritual amnesia, forgetting the truth. And so that's what Barker is saying. Treatment is actually a process of remembering the truth about ourselves. What we know is that treatment is a technique that we can use to help us remember this. The truth that we want to remember is simply that we're actually already spiritual beings. And that actually there is nothing but spirit. And that includes our everyday existence in this world of form, this everyday world. The world of form is nothing more and nothing less than spirit itself in expression. You and I are spirit in expression. Now, this doesn't mean that we're imaginary. It doesn't mean that it's an illusion or a delusion. We're real. Spirit is real, we're real. But in a way, it almost feels like we live in two worlds, the spiritual world and the physical world. But it's just more a matter of how we perceive things. It's not the way it really is. There's just one thing, and it takes various forms. It's just like we can only live in this moment, right? I don't live in tomorrow. I can't really live in yesterday. I live in the now. But it's still useful to keep track of time. I have a calendar. Just because I live in the now doesn't mean I'm gonna, I'm not gonna forget someone's birthday, right? I keep track of it because I pay attention to what's going on in the everyday world of experience. So here at our center, and this is what we're embarking on. This is where we're going. This is how we're going to get across the bridge and get rid of the troll, right? We teach a 5-step method of treatment. And if you get this book and you flip all the way to the back of the book, Raymond Charles Barker gives you 6 things to do for treatment. And if you look in the Science of Mind textbook, there's several places where Ernest Holmes talks about the 3 things to do for treatment. And when I first learned treatment, I learned 7 steps of treatment. It doesn't matter any more than whether you're making chocolate chip cookies from a Betty Crocker cookbook or, you know, The Joy of Cooking or from the back of the package. You're still gonna end up with chocolate chip cookies if you follow the recipe. It's just how it's written down. It's the same thing, however it's divided up. I like the 5-step method because it's easy to remember because we have 5 fingers, so I can like go through it. Did I do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? It's simpler. So the thing is, before you start your treatment, you have to make a decision about what is the conscious thought that you want to see unfolding in your life. You want to decide on what that new thought is going to be. And that's why we're offering just a short workshop after fellowship. It won't take long. We hope you can join us. It's going to be a good opportunity to ask any questions. And if you can't, if you have to go somewhere, after you get your photo taken, you can pick up the handouts, because we're going to be working with the handouts. Kind of from now on, I think all month we'll be working on the handouts to a certain degree. So please at least get those. So the 5 steps of treatment are: first, remind yourself of the true nature of God, or the allness. Second, remind yourself that you are the operation of this allness. You are an expression of it. You are one with it. Third, realize the true spiritual perfection of everything that is obvious, no matter what current changeable conditions you may be experiencing. When you are able to realize that, it's going to be easy to realize that the condition you would like to experience must also exist. So this is the step of pulling up the mental weeds, planting the new mental thought seeds. Fourth, you give thanks as you are accepting that this new condition already exists in spiritual form, so you now have it. And fifth, you release the treatment. You turn it over to the law of mind in faith, knowing it's already done and it's already in form or already unfolding into form. It's done. It's not a matter of willpower making these things happen. It's a matter of remembering that they must happen when it's what you focus on. That's getting rid of the troll. So it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's very simple. If you haven't tried doing treatment before, now's the time to start. I know a lot of you have started it. If you use it, it's time for us to deepen our practice. And doing treatment for yourself doesn't mean that you can't ask someone else to do a treatment for you. I do it all the time. It just depends on how easy or how hard it is to remember the truth about a particular situation. So if I face something and I'm having a struggle, seeing that from a spiritual point of view it's all fine, I can call Reverend Maureen. Hey, can you know this for me? So this is how we help each other out. This is why we have a group. This is how we can support each other. Doing it for yourself, though, is good. You can do it every day if you want. Just like being able to do things in your home, a little bit of do-it-yourself is good. And the more you practice, the more you learn. The fact is that I know that treatment has changed my life. And so I want to encourage everyone to give it a try. Now's the time. Now is the time for us to use spiritual mind treatment and begin actually creating the conditions that we want to see in our life. So we're going to now cross the bridge from thinking about how to use the power for good. Remember, we say there's a power for good greater than you are, and you can use it. We're going to not just think about that. We're going to use it in a powerful way. So, it's time to dissolve those old trolls of doubt and make it across the bridge to the land of happily ever after, where we are excited about our new wonderful adventures. So that's my talk, and so it is. Thank you.
go ahead.
Once again, I ask the band to join me.
I know this waitress, she works in a small cafe. She serves you with a smile, she gives all her tips away to the needy homeless souls who drop in late at night. She can't afford it, but it helps them see the light. And we can all be little suns, shedding light everywhere we go, warming up our atmosphere, causing that love to grow. Or we can keep to our own space and let the world be a colder place. Or we could all be little suns. I know this fella, he sings high and sweet, plays real good guitar, plays it with his feet. Now he may not have arms, but he's got the light within. And when he sings and plays, he shines it out again. We can all be little suns, shedding light everywhere we go, warming up our atmosphere, causing that love to grow. Or we can keep to our own space and let the world be a colder place. Or we could all be little suns. Mother Teresa, she'd have given you her own shirt. That little old lady, man, she tackled some great big hurt. A supernova is what she's come to be, but she can still use some help from suns like you and me. We can all be little suns, shedding light everywhere we go, warming up our atmosphere, causing that love to grow. Or we can keep to our own space and let the world be a colder place. Or we could all be little suns. We've all known trouble. Everybody has felt the loss. Everyone has stood the strain from carrying around their cross. Now with all that common ground, why can't we plant the seed and reap the harvest that we all so badly need? We can all be little suns, shed light everywhere we go, warming up that atmosphere, causing that love to grow. Or we can keep to our own space and let the world be a colder place. Or we can all be little suns. We can all be little suns, shed light everywhere we go, warming up that atmosphere, causing that love to grow. Or we can keep to our own space and let the world be a colder place. Or we can all be little suns. That's right. We can all be little suns. Hallelujah. We can all be little suns.
Thank you very much. Thanks for clapping along.
Thank you. That was great. Okay. Now's the time for giving. And I'd just like to say we have several ways: check, money, we have PayPal. I use Venmo. It's really easy. I just do it on my phone. And just something a little different. I just wanted to say, if you have a gift or you're visualizing your gift, can you just put it over your heart and just say, divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. So it is.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I am. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I am. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
So let's once more take a deep breath and just center yourself into the one, into that place of the all. And just know with me, there is only the one spirit in this room, in us, around us, and through us, and we are an individualization of that one. We are one with it. There's never been any separation. There never will be. And I know for each of us, when I say the word I am, it includes you. When I say that I am always one with the mind of God. I am creative. And I release from my subconscious any trolls. I release them, I throw them out, because I know who I am. I make wise decisions. I make decisions for life and for freedom and for joy and love, prosperity. I am prosperous. I have money to share and money to spare. And I know that I am healthy. Oh, my body is filled with love and energy, and every cell is energized. I am healthy. And I declare that I am creative in all that I touch, in my work, in my art, just in my being. I am creative. And lastly, I am lovable and loving. I give love, I receive love. That's who I am, because that's what God is. God is love. God is that essence of love enfolding us, coming up from the earth, enjoying life, giving us a gift of freedom. So I know this for all of you, and I give great gratitude. I release my word. Know it is acted upon as spoken. I know it is so, and together we say, and so it is. Thank you all. So, closing song.
Stand up, everybody, and sing this with us. Open your heart, let your love grow free. Out over the ocean, or right across the street.